Rikers Island, Latin Kings, Bloods, gangs. When I got to the 4 building, how I met Ro before he was king from Bad Boys. What took place and what transpired with Ro as the years went on and where Ro is today. In order to understand this video, you got to watch it all to the end. Because for those that know who Ro was, then you know. We're going to get into the story of Ro and a whole lot more here on The Lockout. So I get to Rikers Island. I land in the Mall 4 Lower. Mall 4 Lower was on one side, and across from Mall 4 Lower is Mall 10. It's the early 90s. Super early 90s. Dominican Supra is running around the building. He's looking for people. He's looking for recruitment. He's looking for kings. He's looking for real lions. Determined that the nation expands, grows, and takes full control of Rikers Island by any cause. So Supra was well known in the building. He would go court the Martinez, whatever CO would take him from building to building. Because at this point, the Latin Kings were expanding on Rikers Island. And they were starting to take a tremendous a stronghold on the jails. I remember the first time I seen Supra. And he wasn't like real thinking who he was, like showing off. But you knew just by looking at him and the moves that were happening and how he went into houses, how he just called another Hispanic dude to come out. You said in your head, he's somebody with power, right? So now, I'm just explaining that story so you can picture in your head what's going on at this time and place with this one guy going to different houses in a lot of incidents, calming, keeping the peace, like, yo, y'all bros need to chill, whatever the case may be, right? Mind you, this is a long time ago. I'm super young. I'm bugging, right? My ignorance is out the roof. So, and this is where Ro comes in the picture. I remember the first day that I went to Mall 4 Lower. And I remember people on my left-hand side. If I'm not mistaken, the CO running the house was like Oliver. Martinez was down there. And it was another female officer, I think by the name of Jackson or Miss M, something like that. I'm bad with names, right? The feds remember names, not war. So anyway, let's go. I walk in Mall 4 Lower. I feel like all eyes is on me because the glass, whatever you want to call it, the other inmates could see out, and you feel like the fresh meat, the new kid on the block, and they all like one would say on the gate, but they on the window here, on the glass, like looking, and you see them moving back and forth, and you like, wow, and you feel the tension. Not that you're scared, but I was getting ready. My heart was pounding because I'm like, it's going to be popping when I get in there. Because I already had established in my big head that don't matter what happens, nobody's bullying me, facts, or anyone around me. And I was already, getting locked up like back to back, never glorifying, just telling a story in hopes that you don't end up as I did. So I see Ro, he comes out, boom. Because at those times, the COs at Rikers Island were so comfortable with inmates and all that they would let the inmate out to talk to a new inmate. And at times, certain COs knew that dumb inmates, when they came out, they was gonna lay the pressure game on you from the gate. Like tell you what you repping, like you can't be here, like what you're gonna do, you with it, you not with it, right? Like you remember those tones if you've been to the island. So Ro comes, boom, I'll never forget. I'll never forget. And I'm not saying this in disrespecting Ro, and we're gonna get to that. It's just exactly what happened. And in order for you to understand what I'm trying to say, I have to say it this way. Ro comes out, boom. And at that time, I was really with the bull crap. Like I was really all invested in my people, you know, like gang. Like we banging, like whatever, right? We in the jail. You gotta turn animalistic or you're gonna get eaten. It's the life. It's sad, but it's the reality of what happens on Rikers Island. I meet Ro. He asks me, yo, what are you? I'm like, why? What's up? He's like, I'm just asking. I just want to know. Because you look like you Boricua, Puerto Rican, and he has 2 cuts on his face. They weren't like real bubbly. Like, you know, like somebody gets cut or you cut somebody and it bubbles up. Next time you see him, it's like, wow, right? But you could see them. And I was like, wow. And he tells me, what you banging? Like, what you repping? And I was like, I'm king. Because at that time, that's where my mind was at. That's what I was doing. And he asks me, I got a question for you. And I was like, what's up? And he looked me dead in my eyes. And he said, why did you get involved in that? I was thrown back by it at first. And to be perfectly honest, no one had ever asked me that. So I was like shocked and puzzled for a second. I stood back with a look of shockness, despair, if I'm using the right word. But I replied, because I snapped out of it quick, like, and I said, I just felt it was the right thing to do for my peoples. And he looked at me and he was like, all right, that's what's up. I could take that. He was like, but I don't think you should have got involved in that. He was like, you seem like you a cool dude. My name is Ro. He said, hopefully they'll put you on my side. But I always had no trust for no one. And in my head, I said, hopefully they won't. Because I already felt like something was going to happen. Because you already asked me a question. And I felt like nobody should be questioning me. That was my attitude then. So they put me on the other side. Bang. They over there. So he keeps calling for me. Yo, call it. All along. Till today. Because I seen Ro plenty of times after that. He tells me he wasn't king yet. Like he wasn't Latin king yet. In fact, he never thought about getting involved in king. This is why he told me. But not too long right after that, Ro became Latin King. So you see how the world works. This very same thing that you one time was telling me, why did I get involved in that? When we spoke numerous times, yo, you should have just stood neutral. I don't know where did it turn around for him. I guess it started super growing because everybody was in the building. Tarzan was on one side and Martin lower. Those were the times like Apple, Batman and Robin was like, I think in 2 top or 4 top, something like that if I remember. But they was in the building. You couldn't walk to the mess hall without somebody getting cut. You couldn't go to the visit floor without somebody getting cut. As soon as you stepped outside the door from your house, it was like, boom, all right, everybody back in, alarm, all right, take it back in, take it to your house. 2 houses pass crossing each other, the COs are betting. I bet you my house pop first. I bet you mine. And it's a crazy chaos in the hallway. Boom, pop, ping, pop. Boom, 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 pop. Oh, CO! Oh, he cut him. You know, craziness, animalistic. Something that I believe to today could have been prevented if people that was in charge really cared. But it was more lucrative to have us killing each other and hurting each other. Brown and black. A war. Behind walls that a lot of people didn't even know existed in the outside world. Because in the outside world, when I went back home, I was right back with my black friends and my Puerto Rican friends all together as one, as if nothing never happened. I hated going to Rikers Island because I knew who I had to become. I knew that immediately I had to put away my love for another race. And for a long time, that ate me up, and as sad as it may be, it became my second home. Ro went on to becoming a well-known member of the Bad Boys. As time went on, I used to see him from time to time in different buildings, or at times when he touched the street. And he was like, I see you, I heard about you. He's like, man, we come a long way. Like, I know you for years. But this last time when I saw Ro, it reminded me of what people be saying. That you can see someone doing real bad in the streets, but behind the G-War or on Rikers Island, he's a different type of animal that you want to be aware of. It reminded me when we always say, the dude that's getting high on your block, the crackhead, the one you disrespect on the line while you serving him, will be the one that you have to answer to at times when you get locked up, and it's a big wake up. It's a shock. Like, nah, yeah. And you like, I know him. I used to sell him. Yeah. You got to ask him to use the phone. It's just the way it goes. Not all the time, but it happened a lot. And it still does. Don't let no one lie to you. With that being said, I'm outside recently. Fast forward. Early 90s, 2021, 2020. Ro's home. I'm like, I know you. Ro from Bad Boy. So from time to time when I would take the train and go to the Bronx, I would run into Ro. And the memory of me as a young guy going through the island and speaking to him drew me close to him, like when I seen him in the street. And the conditions that I saw him in wasn't the same Ro that I always knew. So one day, I'm walking with some other dudes that are also affiliated, right? Boom, a big argument breaks out. Now, I'm with this part of the people, but they arguing with Ro, and a fight is about to break out. In my head, I said, Warpath, don't matter what happens, you can't let nothing happen to Ro. Ro was there from the beginning when Supra was running around the building. When we was turning it up, where it was king or nothing. And when bros and people at that time, when I was fully involved in that, had to really defend themselves. Like it was a problem, right? So I get mad. Me and the other dude start arguing, bro. They break it up. We walk off, but he says, you know why? You right. Because to me, I'm saying, you're going to argue and fight with a dude. You bad boy, but you're going to fight with another bad boy that damn near started bad boy. If not, was on that line of one of the first. Right? And I was just trying to show him that you got to put a little more respect on something. If you're still screaming it out, you're screaming it out because of that dude right there and a few other dudes. Facts. Don't matter his condition. Don't matter what situation took place with y'all, what he's saying about you. Think about that. And then make your decision before you just act off of feelings. Boy, you're right. So they leave. A few days later, I see Ro. Boom. He was walking regular. Next time, he's in a wheelchair. And I told him, Ro, can I tell this story? And if you guys that been watching the show remember, I said little bits and pieces how I was going to get into the story about Ro in my live stream. And how Ro wanted to tell his story. I never seen Ro like that in my life. How one can go from being healthy, running around the street, they free doing what they want. Summertime is hot. I seen them. I'm like, yo, Ro, what's up? Running, energetic to a wheelchair to where your back is almost bent. And he's telling me, War, I'm gonna die. When he told me that, to hear that from another human being, that you was around since you was so young, first going to the island, I must admit that my feelings came into play. Like I felt like I feel now, like an apple was stuck in my throat and I needed it to come out, bro. Cause I knew it was choking me. I felt like I felt when I woke up out of that coma and I had tubes down my throat. Like this needs to come out because it's really killing me. I told him, you need to go to the hospital, bro. What happened? I start pushing him in the wheelchair. We by Jerome, over by Yankee Stadium. You know, the smoke shop. As soon as you get off the train, you walk up that little, you pass the bank and all that. Where you buy the cigarettes at 50 cents, you already know. Stop playing, right? Before you pass the park. Train station is right there. The supermarket, Ro always sat there in his wheelchair. And I told him, Ro, let me take you to the hospital. And he's like, I can't, bro. I said, let me call the ambulance for you, bro. I can't, bro. But he's telling me he's going to die. I feel like I'm going to die, bro. I'm going to die in this wheelchair, bro. I said, Ro, you got to go to the hospital. I came real quick. I made a video. I said, for all y'all dudes that are always screaming out, you want to help somebody? Help Ro. He needs the help. He's in a wheelchair. Right? How many people asked, how do you get to Ro? I'll wait. Now, I don't know how much damage Ro did to other people, but I knew him as a different individual. The feeling that I had in the first encounter that we had on the island, nothing really transpired. Just the fact that why did you get in that? And then he got into it himself, and I looked at it like, duh, right? So I live with the thing now, and it hurts me, and I think about it a lot. But that's when it goes, when you hold on to your street values, your code, your morals, your principles, them bullshit codes, them bullshit street principles of that I can't call the ambulance on him because he's going to say I ratted. He's going to say, damn, war, call the cops on me and I got locked up. But if I would have did all that, he would have been alive. He didn't want to go to the hospital because they were looking for him. He said, I'm going to go to the hospital chair. They're going to cuff me and I'm going to go back to jail. Boy, and I'm going to go to jail for a long time. So whatever had happened, he had told me a different story. So when I go to the Bronx the other day and I stop by and I'm talking to some blood dudes that I know in the corner. And then some other dudes that are involved in the Latin Kings pop up. Yo, War, you know what happened to Ro? I'm like, no, because I'm not involved in every activity like that. I'm working on self. I'm working on change, right? So, Ro passed away. Nah. Yeah, bro, he died. That left me so messed up, man. Because I felt like I could have saved his life. But because I was afraid of how others were going to look at me, I was afraid of what was going to be said about me. And how I saved his life, and now Ro is locked up. The ignorance of the streets is, nah, you wasn't supposed to do that. You were supposed, that's on him. You were supposed to let him go. If he want to kill himself, if he want to die, let him kill himself. Well, you know what? As sad as it may be, and I didn't get the opportunity to do it, maybe you won't have to go through this if you're listening. Real friends don't let other friends die because of what somebody else is going to think about you or because of your gang, your beliefs, or whatever things you hold on to for your love for the streets and the peoples that will pound you out to the concrete quicker than you can think. Because Ro still would have been here and had another opportunity at life. Because Ro wanted to change. But that thing about putting him in the wheelchair, having him hunchback, like, it was crazy. His spine was broken, all that. He's going through this pain. He's like, bro, I'm dying. I'm going to die. And then to finally hear that he does die, it's like, wow, I played myself. I could have saved them. Again, something else that happens to me that's going to eat me up for the rest of my fucking life. It had nothing to do with him being king. Because I'm not gangbanging. I don't live my life gangbanging. I don't see color. I got friends that's in every gang. I talk to people that are in every gang. If you're a good dude, you're a good dude. If you're a piece of, you're a piece of, and that's that. There's good and bad people in everything. I don't live my life like that no more. I don't blame a whole group of people for what one or two or a handful of people did. I deal with people individually, accordingly. But I let them street codes and the street values, fake morals and principles get the best of me and not save a dude that I knew for over 20-something years. Gangs, the life, the streets. Equals pain. Never fails. So I don't know, for whatever it means to you or whoever knew Ro. Ro wasn't just a dude that was running around in the street wilding, whatever he was doing, indulging, bugging. I seen him put in a lot of what we call work, right? Which in reality was ignorance, but it's something that we had to go through. It needed to be done. It needed to happen in order for people to be where they at today, I guess, right? To me, Ro was more than a dude that was doing all that. That what people saw that was bad, or he grimy on the island, or he doing this in the street or doing that, because I was able to sit down and speak to him and get to find out who he was as a person. And when I was pushing him in the wheelchair, and when I stopped that little beef from happening, he told me, whoa, you a good dude. And I said, bro, I always salute who needs to be saluted. I'll never forget when I first went to the island as an adolescent, Ro and them already was there and had it locked. Or had that situation locked in Marfo Lower, right? But they were known. Like the people in the other houses, in the other buildings knew who they were, what was going on down there. And it's crazy because I said a little bit of this story in a video years ago where Boo Black was on the other side from Taino Towers. The Asian dudes were in that house with me. And now I get to talk about it again, just that this time Ro's dead. The streets, Rikers Island, gangs will definitely bring you death.